Hi, everybody. So I'll just head outside to Bethlem Gallery so you can see where we're at. So we're on the grounds of the Bethlem Hospital, which is that's the entrance right there. There's the chapel, and there's Bethlem Gallery and Museum. The museum is also having an opening tonight. So as we walk into the space, to the left we have the exhibition. So there you can see the title of the exhibition. And so you can see here we've got the artworks and then also a layer of postcards beneath. So, and we've also got an interactive a spot where people can also make their own postcards. So for some visitor participation. Oh, the video is about to restart actually, so we'll pan back to that. Somebody's left a terrasu. Got Robin. There's Vermilion. Karen, there's your work. And we've got these deck chairs with Lily's work. And of course we've got Joe. Hi, Joe. Yeah, so we're just live streaming with New York.
And we're looking on postcards.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'm just going to pan over here. So we've got some work. Oh, there's Mr. X. So we've got the works on top and the postcards below. So those are the ones that you can pick up. So the idea with the postcards is you can pick them up and take a look at them as well. There's Boolin's cat.
Green, we lost your audio.
There we go. So I'm just gonna do a wide angle and just kind of like so you can see the whole exhibition. Got some folks. Oh, hello. There's Anna. Yeah. So I'm gonna head back into the studio. Oh, technology. Yeah. So that's the exhibition. That was a bit of a quick walkthrough. There was also a screen with the video works on there too. So I think Isa, I think your song was about to start, and we've got headphones set up for the video work. So it's like here, Isa, your work, Judy, your video is there too. So people can sit on the deck chairs and have a listen. But yeah, that's the exhibition.
Looks
If,
fantastic.
Thank you. It's so
Just
honestly, it's so
beautiful.
nice to see everybody's work, especially like for me, it felt like Christmas, like getting the big box from New York and opening it up and going through things. And so like yeah, working on this was such a privilege. So thank you all for this. It's really, really special.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you all too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a big day in New York and London.
Yeah, most definitely. And also it's we've got the room set up here, so it's a bit like a couple of rows of seats in the studio. So you might notice that some folks are coming in and out and listening, and some people who who were asking kind of like,
Okay, hello. Can I be heard?
there we go. So I'll
Can
mute.
people hear me?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna replace the pin. So what does that mean? Okay, let's see, start the video. I'm gonna turn it around. You can see where did I go? Spotlight for everyone. Okay, there's my desk. Nothing to see
Yay.
there. Okay. Kareem, I'll take your lead and also show um, where we are. We are on the corner of 9th Avenue and 48th Street in Hell's Kitchen. Wow, an iconic New York cab, a paid actor. And here's our gallery. Here we are. Okay. So then walk in the space here. I'll give you like a general view first. Here are our snacks if anyone wants to come in person. All right. So we have some of Liliana's images, not on beach chairs, but still beautiful. Some Issa's work, Siobhan, Michelle, Michael. A fantastic
Oh,
collaborative piece that traveled both internationally and then back to us.
sorry, Rachel. Would it be okay if we just, because a lot of the artists have just come into the room now,
Oh, yes,
like
I can
Michelle and
pause.
Bill, Lily. So would it be okay to like rewind just a little bit? I'm so sorry.
No, totally fine.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much.
Another cab. Okay. So here's the gallery space. So Liliana, we have some of your work here. There is a bit of a glare this way, but not in person. Piece by Issa. Some works by Siobhan. A nice little trifecta of Michelle, Siobhan, and more Michelle. Some Michael. And then this piece was a collaboration between Nancy, Tarasu, and Siobhan. So it traveled to London and then back. Ooh, the glare on this is really hard, but this is a piece by Guillemar. Beautiful piece by Vermilion. Issa, Mark. And what we used for our postcard, this fabulous piece by Michelle that everyone wants to know information about. And then on this wall, kind of like entering us into the matrix, you can see all the tech stuff, but we have some work by Judy, Siobhan, Mark, Lynn, Kiko. This larger piece by Mark here, and a book by Vermilion. We also have a catalog here of reproductions of the work that are in the London show, so people can sort of see what their companion pieces are as well. Half, I guess, to the second half of Karen's piece here. Michelle, two of yours. Mark, three of Judy's women. an arrangement of Kalila's pieces here, paired with two of Siobhan's, three of Mark's drawings, three of Nancy's postcards that with the glare is sort of hard to see, but they were so beautiful that we wanted to frame them as a set. And then I noticed you also did this, Bethlem. We have Robin down here. We also thought it needed to absolutely be something that you experience from above. I have this work by Kiko. Isa, these two works by Isa in collaboration with Vermilion. Kalila. Michelle. Mary, if you'll give a wave. Our offices. The commemorative book that was made, so we have that on a pedestal here. We have three works by Mike in combination with Vermilion. This is one of our video stations. It has a video by Boulin and then also the video by Kelly, which I believe is in the London space as well. Joanne, we have your piece here. Another by Michael. One by Kiko. This one, which was a collaboration piece between Guillemar and Boulin. Michelle's washing machine. Portrait by Mark.
Hey, Albert.
An Isa station here with two of his works and two of his videos playing on iPad.
Come sit here, Albert.
These works by Kalila, some very small, some quite large. And then our very fun little postcard tree. That people can explore.
Bravo. So
amazing, y'all. Congratulations.
It looks great.
And that's what we got for the tour.
we've been doing prompts on coming out of isolation, breaking down the elements of isolation and then coming out of it. So we've explored all these different aspects of being alone, of mourning, of feeling like something is missing, of what our mental illness sometimes prevents us from doing, our expectations of ourselves, our expectations of others, just a litany of very intense things. So we've
It's just going at its own pace. Look, it's ticking over seconds. See the 54, 55. That's how the film is.
Oh, is that not meant to be any sound?
Okay, so Mark, I have your piece queued up. Are you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
This is my one of my isolation figures that I'm working with, and he's kind of in his little pig pen with his chocolate chip cookies, and he's oscillating. If you see the oscillating fans on either side, what to do, and there's the merry-go-round of thoughts in his head behind him, and there's a cell phone and a television, all these kind of things that he isolates himself with. And then you see this little pipeline out of it leading into the guy with the pink aura. And he's coming out of isolation. And he's just, one of the tools that he's using is just remember to listen. That's like his mantra. Just listen to people and respond.
I mean, it is literal, but I still find some abstract qualities in it, like with your choice of color. And I feel like the protective barriers around the smaller figures are also a little bit electric. So there's like a lot of movement.
The bright colors, the aura, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. And I also love the big ear, listening. Listening can be superpower. Listening can be essential to good friendships, good relationships. Just listen and don't judge. I love it. I love the fruit of the loom.
It's supposed to, I didn't have room, but it's supposed to say fruit of the loon. Or the mental illness, you're taking back the word.
What's the threshold of isolation? What's the threshold? Does that make sense? The twilight zone in between the here and the there. So what is working on? What is the effort made? What is the space of coming out of isolation as you get closer and closer to the threshold?
I was thinking about Judy and puppets. I really like paper dollies and things like that, and I'm really into folding paper and stuff like that. But I wanted to sort of do a sort of simplistic representation of myself. I don't know if you can see that. The way the light is in my living room cast a shadow, and so the first one has her arms sort of open, but they've all got a blank face.
Did you write some words there?
I did write some words. So I said, she longs for longing's sake, belonging to no one but the grebe and the still lake.
What is really clear is you took something two-dimensional and you made it three. So you literally like brought something out of, one dimension into another, which is kind of a breaking out of isolation if you're into flatland.
I just had this idea about, where do we belong? It's like, where do I belong? Where do we belong? Maybe we belong nowhere. And I like the idea of sort of belonging to no one, but just belonging to yourself as well.
For us in Bliss, and I think I described some of this before, for us in Bliss, it's not that the memory goes away, because you can't undo something that is done, but whereas you looked at it from over there, letting go of it may mean looking at it from over there or higher or somewhere else, looking at it from somewhere else, because we can't undo a thing that is done. We can transform it, we can reinvent it, but we can't undo it. Like bliss may mean coming at it from somewhere else or turning it into something else.
So Kalila, I think you should go first.
Thank you very kindly. I think this is the first thing I've done at home with my new bifocals. This is a small black canvas, probably like an 8x10. I had a lot of things going through my mind as I was doing this. Things like, neural pathways, like I was talking about, brain waves, calf paths.
It's beautiful. Hey, you. Even without your explanation, I mean, all of us saw something different, because I was relating it to our coming out of isolation and what you leave behind. I just saw that big negative space in there.
I definitely see movement, and I like what Karen pointed out, which was that blank spot. To me, that could be symbolic of the unknown.
So I think people, I've seen you inspire and influence each other, but none of your work I ever felt was derivative. it happened, there was intimacy, there was vulnerability. There was a challenge in trying to figure out how you can be creative around uncomfortable things. So I think that your willingness to just be yourselves here. It wasn't a Disney ending. We didn't go galloping into the sunset with anybody or anything like that. But it was liberating, I would hope.
Definitely.
It's liberating, if anything else.
Great.
Gabriel, it was marvelous. Thank you so
Really good work, Gabriel.
That was
Yay.
beautiful. Yay.
Barbara, thank you.
For those of you in Bethlem, I'm not sure you remember Gabriel. He came on later after Claire left. But Gabriel, are you going to turn your camera on for people to see you, please? Where are you?
Where's Gabriel?
Where's Gabriel? I hope he will turn his camera
Take your
on.
bows. Take your bows.
There he is. There they are. Yes. Yeah.
Did he make the video?
Yes. Which was quite an undertaking because, as you guys who are part of the collaboration know, we met once a week for an entire year, and that is a lot of footage.
Yes, I imagine how much footage.
So I am going to introduce myself really quickly, and my name is Karen Gormandy, and I am the Fountain House Studio founding director. And for an entire year, the fabulous artists from Bethlem Gallery and our artist here worked together on what was originally entitled Coming Out of Isolation, which is was conceived by our own Vermilion, who is in the gallery in New York City. So we have panel discussion today. And on our panel are Vermilion, of course. We have a couple of folks, Siobhan and Michelle from Great Britain. We have Bulin, Isa, Kalila, Mike, and on this side. So I'm going to go through with some questions, and then you are, of course, going to, again, introduce yourself because none of the panels here are, identify you by name. So I am so happy to be here. So good to see everyone together in the same place again. And we're going to kick it off. I'm going to, since this was conceived by Vermilion, I'm going to kick it off with her. So to ask her to tell us what inspired you, how this was conceived, and how you got it off the ground.
Hi, I'm Vermilion. I'm originally from Transylvania, Romania, and I'm an American citizen now, but still I travel back to my country of origin. And I realized that travel really helps mental illness. It gets you out of your daily routine. It gives you a perspective of what's going on in other systems. and through comparison, you put everything into perspective, things start to change, the balance. And also, I'm a busybody. Whenever I travel, I have to do some enterprise. And so I thought, there is no direct flight to Romania. How about, this was when we had the mushroom show here in 2023. I said, how about we have it also somewhere in Europe? And the Shark Gallery came through for us and we had the show there. Now, when we had the show there, I met Michelle and she took me gallery hopping. She took me to an event in a Portobello market, I think it was, the color walk. They have it once a month. Everybody dresses colorfully, but also quite performatively. And I said to myself, what amazing thing it is to meet a person that's very aligned with what I think is fabulous. And we talked about the mental illness, mental health system in England and here. And it just felt so good to be with someone in that city. It's a big city, Karen, and it rains a lot there. My shoes were all wet all through the stay there. So it was a bit of a downer. And Michelle said, you need to go to see Bethlem Gallery. And I went there and I loved it. I loved the gallery. I loved the staff. I loved the grounds. I've seen their studio, your studio. And I felt, yeah, this is going to be good for us. They have a boutique there. We don't have a boutique. So I thought we're going to grow like them and probably they're going to learn some stuff from us too. And so that was one layer, the why we started this. The other one was we've been through one Trump, 4 years, and now more of it. It was at that time in 2023, he was not on, but it was like, my God, I'd really like to be part of something that is resilient, that does some good in this world outside political systems, outside of the madness that goes on. And so, well, yeah, the COVID too, we were isolated, so we were like trying to get out of it and rally our strength. So that was my proposition, and it was embraced both by your Bethlem Gallery and our gallery, and then by you at the studio. Unfortunately, I laugh now, but my year last year was the year of calamities. My house was on fire. I got hit by a taxi, on and on it went. And so it was the universe, sent you, Karen, to be fantastic. You recreated the whole process because you came up, you were there when I couldn't be there, and you came up with the prompts. So that the workshops, I wasn't fooling them, but whenever I was, they were really nurturing. And I've seen the level of intelligence, the level of emotional awareness, and the artistry of the people. And I was just flummoxed, and I loved it to see it unfolding. And I hope we continue with, with other countries, other people. I hope this will turn into one of our legacies, that you believe something good behind. And also there was one, you remember, I think it was in November, when we said, okay, I think we've had enough workshops, we're gonna stop it now. And we were prepared to say this in the room, but people were adamant that they really need this, it was a haven. It was a haven when Trump started again with the level of incompetence, of disregard, of whatever this is going on, it was helping against this. So I'm grateful for that. To many more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vermillion. So I'm going to move on to our two participating artists in Bethlem, Michelle and Siobhan, and ask you what motivated you to join the group. I'm going to ask you first, Siobhan, and then Michelle.
I think it was just a whim, really. I don't know. I was really intrigued by the idea of it. And I think that it was, I was just really curious because, like Vermillion said, we'd come out of the pandemic, and it's, that was a hugely traumatic thing for a lot of people, and people still haven't processed that, I think. But I think also I sort of have, in a way, my mental health to thank for actually wanting to take part and finding a sort of a group of people who took art and writing and visual art very seriously. So I was really intrigued. I think I was intrigued. And I really didn't know what to expect, but it evolved into something which is quite extraordinary. So that's for me. That's what I would say.
Curiosity.
Curiosity.
That is a prime characteristic of the creative. And you, Michelle?
Well, obviously I've met Valerian in London, and we talked about art and making art, and I was really curious about how things worked over there as opposed to here. And I had no idea what to expect. And I think that was a wonderful thing about it, not actually knowing what to expect. And it was just illuminating. I found it really fantastic. And thank you, Karen, for the prompts, holding the space for us, because it's such an unusual space. To all be in separate places, but all be in this virtual reality sort of place. I don't know anyway how to explain that, but so I found it really exciting as well, and I'm still working through some of the work that got ignited through that, because I think, lots of other questions, like Valerian said, we've now got all sorts of mayhem going on around the world, and yet we've made this amazing connection that's helping us think about how we navigate and make art.
Well, thank you. So, Vermillion.
Yes, I have a question for you, Karen. How did you come up with the themes, the prompts, and what were your expectations?
It was actually organic, because when you start with, I didn't really think about the theme of isolation that much until I started listening. Until I started listening to everyone in the room and understood how complex it was. It was extremely complex. And then just thinking about how far we've gotten away from each other made me understand how far we had to travel to even step onto neutral ground. So we all had many things in common, and many things that people, maybe were hard pressed to even explore. But we all were creatives, and that was the channel that we could use. So, for example, the reticence, I remember somebody, and I'm not going to mention names, who ended up telling me, I don't want to come out of isolation. And I think that was actually telling and funny, but was really telling of the magnitude of why. So we had to explore, why do you want to stay there to begin with? Why are you there? What drove you into isolation? And what is going to motivate you to come back? So I'm not a therapist, however, but together I felt that the group was able to come to a certain space and to understand a language, a common language and a safe language where nobody's going to be judged for anything, where our art can be absolutely authentic. And there was no expectation of any of each other for how vulnerable, how it was certainly not performative. Nobody was performing for anybody else. And that made it all the more powerful. The passion was extremely authentic. And the prompts were just to get us there. You were in isolation, you were far, far away by choice or whatever, however you got there. So we had to start thinking about what are the steps, where are the places where we can get closer to each other. And once we got closer to the out of isolation and who each other were, did we feel safe? Did you feel safe? So it kept going, and it was for me a very, very amazing experience because, like I said, I'm not really a therapist, but we were also authentic and brave and passionate together. And as soon as there was and as soon as I felt the passion, maybe the next prompt would be passion. So the work really drove the prompts. If there was something that came up that had to be explored, we just clawed onto it and leaned into it more rather than avoided it. So it was organic.
Great. I think that's the next question. Any observations as to the refreshing or dismal cultural references? Maybe I think it's addressed to you, but also to everybody in the room. I mean, on the panel.
Yeah, I'm gonna it's in the chat for people who need to hear that question. Any observations as to the refreshing or dismal cultural differences? I guess we can
Shall I answer a bit?
yeah, why not? Go ahead.
I suppose I'm not typical British, so my family aren't, I'm second generation on one side and longer on another, but and I suppose sometimes in the UK that's not the norm. So working across the pond was a lovely escape of that. Or it felt like a breath of fresh air to be able to be a bit loud and a bit bolshy and a bit who I am. And I think that's something that perhaps, the UK is much more
Restrictive.
reserved.
Can I ask a point?
Yeah.
Following on from what you were saying, because that is very interesting. Like that ties in perfectly because here's small communities, which they work within small communities, but the metaphor of across the pond, I like that because it is just ponds, small little communities of fish. Just as this manor here, there will be people floating in from each corner of the pond, and then to be working with across the sea, that really is nice because they've got completely different minerals in their atmosphere. And that's what's nice about it. That's what art is, I find. It's about the two contrasts and understanding to contrast.
Hmm.
So I think that's what's nice about here.
I just want to very quickly say something about that because I think that there's a huge emphasis on the political and this special relationship. And I actually think there are a lot of differences, obviously there are. But I find that what it's
Common.
done for me is it's like broadened my perspective, as you were saying. And I think I've learned so much from this about being treated very respectfully. It's been a very big learning curve because I didn't really, I studied as a musician. I didn't really do visual art. It was a very locked down part of myself. So I think that this has been a sort of voyage of discovery for me, literally, mental voyage of discovery, physical, emotional, and also the thing about being an immigrant, I'm from the Irish diaspora, and it's like I'm only really understanding that part of myself in this context, really, because so many Irish people went after the famine, well, starvation. So we are connected, but we're very different, and it's really interesting to work in the two the cross pollination. It's really fascinating. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to
Well, more so than the differences, I was struck by the commonalities. How we were all artists in that one space, and we all spoke the same language artistically, creatively, in that kind of freakish artist thing that we had. We were all that commonality is what made it the connectivity that made it stick for me. So.
Thank you, Isa. Do we have anyone else who would like to tackle or who have thoughts on the question, our cultural differences or similarities, as Isa has pointed out? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Michael, go ahead.
I'd like to weigh in on that.
Okay.
I was meditating the other day and the information came in that we are all individualized points of reference in a sea of information. So what this project was about for me was making connections with other little souls in other places, with other thoughts, worries, obsessions, fears, and interests. And I think that's extremely powerful because if you engage in a connective, collective activity, it's absolutely wonderful. That raises everybody's energy. And I was super excited to pop in every Saturday and work regularly on things I might not even have been thinking about. So Karen provided the prompts, and I was like, oh, okay. And then everyone ran with it. And then it was wonderful to see the unfolding of different perspectives occurring simultaneously, and it's quite amazing to see what we came up with. 2 shows, a book, multiple videos. Everybody was working at their highest level to show who they were to the others who might not know. And whenever we engage in a collective activity, we're all stronger together.
Thank you. Thank you.
I then have a question because when you're in the same room, a lot of creatives, they have their own angles, their own thoughts. Because then when they leave, and when you're in that same room with a safe, creative environment, and then you all have that same seed that is given within the room at the moment to then create. How often did you actually get that people would be bouncing ideas off each other? And then that is the first element of collaboration, is bouncing the ideas. The same way that when seedlings are growing, their roots are connected and they are sending electric frequencies of how to grow.
and they would all the seeds would grow differently, having different results. They could be different fruit entirely, but they connect. It's the same as with COVID lockdown, whatever, that whole distancing from people to then come back. And that's what was magical about here, that it's like COVID never happened. You still all remembered what communication was through art. So back to my question, how often do you get that of where in that room people are actually bouncing ideas off each other without having a wall in between each other, from where, like, this is my idea, you can't understand it, like you wouldn't understand it if, even if not the barrier put up by the person themselves, but it's almost in between the people.
The prompts were about experiences and emotions which were universal. And I think that because everybody was an individual, everybody just
Yeah.
Their interpretation and their personal experience with a specific phase in their life just manifested itself differently, because everyone was a different artist. I don't really know how to explain it, but we did not have any kind of overlap. It was that the group exponentially grew. We became better through our relationships with each other. And all the ideas evolved and were interpreted differently. I see Michelle has some thoughts on that, right?
Yeah, I think
go
the
ahead.
fact we shared our work with each other, and we all supported each other's work, was for me a really powerful thing. And there's that thing about commonality and about sharing and how much alike some of our situations are. But I think that was so powerful because that also encouraged, well, I felt really encouraged and uplifted by it. It was for me, it was a really powerful thing. And I hope it was for everybody else.
So I see your hand, Judy, but we're gonna have a question and answer afterwards. Okay, so I'm gonna move on a little bit here. The other question is, I know we touched on some very intimate and sensitive topics, and the work reflects that. So the next question is for everyone on the panel. Can you remember which topic was a breakthrough for you and how it showed up in your work? I am going to go through the panel alphabetically by first name. So we're going to start with Bulin.
Thank you. I would say one of the first breakthroughs came for me because I really don't like making art over Zoom, and the collective sharing, and it didn't feel to me like something that I was comfortable with. I'd rather be in person with people or in my own private space as an artist. So I think a breakthrough that came for me was like being able to realize that this is possible, that with technology and with sincere sharing and with the time and the dedication and the idea and the leadership that this was possible for it to be able to have an impact on me. And listening to everybody else and looking around at the work in the gallery, I see that it's infectious, actually, in a really, really good way.
Fantastic, thank you. Isa, would you like me to repeat it or?
Well, I definitely agree with Bulin. I've learned to become self-sufficient as an artist. Maybe because of the whole isolation thing, I definitely went deep undercover. Um, and so when I was asked to join, I was daunted because I don't play well with others. You know, I really do well on my own, and I kind of coast on my own thing, and I work well that way. And just having to, I've even told Vermilion when she wanted to reach out and do collaborations af after the uh, the 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 whole process was over and done with. And I was like, oh, I was fighting it, but it opened up a whole other window for me, working with others and bouncing ideas back and forth, and so that coming out of isolation is like a birthing process, and birth can be painful. I don't remember. For my mom, I'm sure it was, but birth is a major thing, and so it was just that struggle and that back and forth and that pull and tug. Um, and if you have a good partner, like I've been fortunate to have with Vermilion and all the other members of the crew, where you're respectful and you give somebody their space and you make a suggestion and you're not overbearing, it could be a very wonderful thing. And so it's just opened up my whole perspective to working with others.
Thank you so much. By the way, the piece that I associate with what you just said was the embryo. For
Yeah.
those of you who are able to be at the gallery, or you can see at Bethlem, Issa did a beautiful piece that relates to exactly what he just said. Is Kalila around? Yes, Kalila, would you like me to repeat the question, or are you?
I actually remember the question because I've been reading it and thinking about it, and I found my notebook finally for the collaboration. So I was able to go back over my notes, and the prompt that opened things up for me was the prompt of identity, which we did Saturday, August 30th, 2025. And it really made me think about who I was, who I am now, and who I want to be. Because while this is like a process of creation, the word that is in my mind is reinvention. That was when my depression started to lift, and I think I heard it on YouTube even as like, oh, reinvention. And I'm like, yeah, I want to reinvent myself. But then I'm like, that's hard. And I'm like, but wait, if reinvention, that means I invented myself the first time, not intentionally, but I did. Therefore, it was a little less scary to go through a reinvention process. And I kind of distilled down like the two things that are most important to me, which is being an artist and a martial artist. So those are the two things that I try and get better at every single day. And it is showing up in my work in that my work is so personal and self-expressive. I mean, you can see behind me the colors, the colors of my hair are often repeated in the colors of my artwork. But also if you go to the gallery, you're going to see there's artwork that I used my own blood to make, because this has also been a process of blood, sweat, and tears, which is difficult, but I am better for having gone through it. So, everything that I do, whether I'm looking at daily art every morning to get a little bit of art history, or doing Julia Cameron's morning pages from the Artist's Way, or listening to the audio of Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act. He's got an amazing voice, so it is a really good audiobook. It's building who I want to be. And maybe I always was this person, I just didn't know it, but I'm trying to strengthen and solidify and really make this who I am, and then being able to show it to the world. So I feel like my art has become much more intentional. And I've also been so incredibly productive because of this collaboration. And I'm grateful to all of this. Thanks.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next person the question is directed to is Mike.
Well, the prompt that stuck out to me was the fear prompt. And the way it works with these prompts is you get the prompt and then you sort of process it and chew on it, and then think about it. And then I was able to do a painting, a portrait of my father, where I got to exercise a lot of demons, and lay them to rest. So that was very helpful from an emotional perspective. But, you know, if you can encapsulate your feelings into an individual work, that's great. It's really what we're supposed to be doing with this. So a lot of the prompts were terrific, and I ran with them, and it, you know, led to different paths of self-discovery and pieces of art. So the whole experience was terrific.
Thank you, Mike. Again, the piece that you have that is that is related to that prompt is absolutely fabulous. I do remember all the characters that appeared in there. Okay, we are going to move back to Bethlem and Michelle.
Yeah, so for me, one of the most memorable prompts was integration. So I think I'm the person that didn't want to come out of isolation or enter the brave new world that's been created. And I wrote a poem, and that poem I've had an amazing level of feedback from the group about, but also being able to write and to read that poem was such a big emotional shift for me. It was really incredible, and the support I got from it was really amazing, and I really appreciate that such a lot. And in a way, I kind of see it connected to the mushrooms from the Shark Gallery exhibition, because those mushrooms have kind of grown in all of us, and our connection with anyway, I'll get the word wrong, so I won't say it, how mushrooms connect. Mycelium, that's it. And so yeah, for me, that was a really powerful moment, because it helped me place where I felt I was at that moment in time.
Well, thank you. I remember the poem.
Oh, thank you.
I felt really privileged to be part of the not only the visual work, but the poetry and the writing that came out of this session. Siobhan.
I think for me, yes. I can't remember which one it was, but I think the integrate one was something that was very personal to me. But I don't know where, when I wrote that poem, and it just came out as well. So it was like giving cohesive thought to your inner feelings as you put yourself back together from great crisis. And yes, it's very hard to get perspective on yourself or see yourself as others see you, or, you know, forget yourself completely. But for me, it really was that. And I think the work I've done has been successful in terms of it's brought together my actual three parts of my soul, which is like a musician, a writer, and a visual artist as well. And it's really, that's been a great surprise for me, and very, very emotional change. And I don't think it would have happened really without this project, really. It's been really fantastic. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we look forward to more, and welcome to the emergence of this Siobhan. Everybody goes through different incarnations in their lives, or they come back.
Carol, I did want to say one very quick thing, something that stuck in my head really powerfully. You said, not everything has to go in one piece of work. But different bits of work belong to different stories, and that actually is universal. I think I've said that to Martin as well. But it's true, that's really been a powerful thing for me to understand that. You're not trying to shove everything into one space, but it's like, yeah.
As a musician and a writer, I'm glad that you were able to process that in your work too, because you all have a lot to give and to say, and it just kind of rushes through the funnel all at once. So I think this whole process helped us all to slow down.
Yeah, definitely.
To slow down. Thank you so much for that, Siobhan. And of course, our Vermilion.
Well, Karen, I don't know if it was a prompt. If maybe it was a session when it was about fear, but I'm not sure. It was a session in which Mark was saying that let's all disrobe, take off. And I thought, well, I'm sure Mike is going for it because he's managing tableau vivants and so spoken, about his sexual topics. And I said, oh my God, it's time to get out of this repressive shame, that messed up my life. I do think, but I wrote about it. I had the fortune to talk to a person who came out. She was in the same boat with me. And then I peddled my piece around. And Mike did some powerful stuff. And then you, Karen, embraced it with the Garden of Shame. And now it's on the wall. And so I don't know if you guys missed the walkthrough of UK, of London show, but here it's on the wall and there's no way of going back to my old life. I couldn't sleep last night until 3 o'clock. I had like a bulb in my head, It was like, will this be life-changing? I don't know, but I did it, and what it will lead to. Maybe it's just gonna go unnoticed, but I did my piece. For the children, Karen, for the children, like Nancy Pelosi says. Also for the child. Well, no, so that's it. The disrobing. Let's disrobe.
The disrobing. I love it. Thank you so much. That was great. I'm gonna move to the postcards, and Boolin, you came up with the fantastic idea of postcards, which is a lost art of writing notes, letters. So any thoughts about what inspired you to do that?
There
they are.
With the postcard tree here, branching out. I think that it was a couple of different influences, but one, like several people here have traveled a lot. And when I used to travel pre-internet and pre-cell phone, I would write to my friends and say, I expect to be in Nairobi the 1st of April, or I expect to be in New Delhi the 2nd of September. And so there would be a deadline where they would have to write back to me, care of a post office, like the biggest post office in Delhi or Nairobi or wherever. And then as a traveler, you would go to that post office and ask for your mail, and you'd get a box, and you'd dig through, and you would just hope that somebody had written you a letter, because as much as I love traveling, it can be isolating. And there's many hours spent where you're isolated, you don't speak the language. There's a lot of stimulation, but to have that handwritten letter from home and then be able to send one back, I just remember how important that was. So when I started to participate in this project, I also remembered that I had done something similar to this with Fluxus, which is sort of an avant-garde art movement. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be interesting if we could all send each other an image or some sort of piece of artwork or, you know, words like that. Everybody was so talented. And also to connect all of us so that as we started to work collaboratively or individually, what would bring everybody together, not just me with one person or me alone or me with three people. And so I really was surprised that people enjoyed it so much. And when I started to receive the postcards and even making them, it brought such joy to be able to go to my post box and actually get something besides a bill, which I dread, so it was to look forward to it. And I appreciate everybody's participation. And as you can see from this beautiful tree, can you see these? Look how many like notes of love have come out and how we managed to connect to each other. And they're just really, 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 really special. So, you know, thank you everybody that took the idea and ran with it. It seems to be a group of people that take ideas and run with it. That's what I would say.
That's very, very true. There, it looks beautiful. Some of them are incredible works of art. Not some of them, all of them. Okay, so two things before I would like to know from the panel if you have any closing final thoughts. And then I noticed that, of course, there are people here who were part of our collaboration, but were not part of the panel. And after the panel does give their final thoughts, I would like to ask some of the other participants if they have any thoughts or comments. So, Bulin, I'm going to start again with you because we are going to try to be alphabetical. Any closing final thoughts?
Closing final thoughts. Well, I don't feel that the project has finished. I feel in a way it's continued to grow, and I hope that people will continue the relationships and the big group emails that we still keep going on, and occasionally send a card. And I'm really, really excited to see the opening tonight. And it's quite amazing. I mean, if you really look at just a bunch of people that maybe weren't really that well known or maybe had been discarded or from society or not recognized, like, look what we all did together. Look what we all accomplished together. Isn't this amazing?
Bravo.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Bulin. Isa, any final?
It was looking kind of bleak for a minute there, and it's still kind of bleak, but this kind of renewed my faith in humanity and friendships and connectivity, knowing that people across the pond are feeling the same thing we're feeling, sometimes worse, which if you can imagine it. So just feeling, sometimes unity in dark times fortifies the soul and fortifies the feelings of, okay, we can get through this. So that's kind of what's helped me. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Isa. Kalila, final thoughts?
Yes, this project has really highlighted the importance of community. And I feel like it's somewhat, of a community within a community because we are, member artists at Fountain House and they are at Bethlem. And I just feel like, it was knit and now it's just tighter knit. And it's so good to see how close we can become with, I sometimes, complain about technology, but I am so thankful for Zoom. It opened up my life. I've been homebound on and off. And to be able to connect with people, whether they're in a different borough or a different continent, has just been priceless. And I really treasure this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalila. Mike.
Well, what else was fantastic about this was the regular meetings, and sort of a safe space style critique. So it really helped me not only become more productive, but also strive to do my best work. And then also have an opportunity to talk about other people's work and maybe encourage them, or question them or learn about their process. The whole thing was fascinating.
Thank you, Mike. Michelle.
Well, I'm not ready for it to end because I'm coming to visit you. You'll have to put up with me in person. And I'll probably appear drunk because on Zoom it's eye level. And when I meet you, I'll come up to your belly buttons. So yeah, so I'm thinking about that really, and how wonderful it will be to have three dimensionals, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
it'd just be really nice. Like it's wonderful seeing the work that I've seen online in the gallery.
Yeah.
That's quite a like in your face because it's so different than on the computer screen.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. Got butterflies in my tummy, but
we can't wait to see you.
There you go. Good. I want some prompts and
You're funny.
I'm gonna have to plant some mushrooms somewhere, but
that might help.
So yeah, I haven't got to that part of it yet because I'm still enjoying it.
Okay. Siobhan?
I just wanted to say, I think that it's been like a real honor to be involved in this project. And for me, it's been how would I say it? Sorry, I'm a bit overwhelmed. I just think it's given me such a different perspective on things, and it was very challenging for me at times, extremely challenging, but I sort of pushed through, and I didn't want to make it all about me, but it's been really wonderful to meet some very truly wonderful artists on this project who have given me ideas, have been so supportive, who've been really kind. It's like, it's all we need, isn't it? In these times of Sturm und Drang, as they say, used to say, before the First World War. We're in those times, very, very, very difficult times, but difficult times make great art and force different connections. So, sorry, no, Michelle.
Well, it's such a fantastic connection. Yeah. It's such an honor.
Yeah.
To be working with all of you.
Thank you very much. And of course, our Vermilion.
Well, a lot of thanks to first to those who passed me information, about something that I thought it's shameful or whatever. I thought, like Michelle sent me links, Mike sent me links. You guys hold me emotionally, Karen. It's priceless. It's priceless. It's changed me. I hope it's gonna reflect in my future work, but certainly in my person, it changed me. I hope my son doesn't disown me. It changed me, and to know more about Isa's work in depth, to work with Karen as an artist, with Mike, with Michelle, these were my primary collaborators. I really think is like that. You have to be in a room with people smarter than you, more knowledgeable than you, if you want to grow. And that's what it happened. So I really love you.
Us too.
And we'll take you, Michelle, around town. I didn't take you around. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a couple of artists who were part of the collaboration in Zoom. I see, let's see who is here. I see Nancy, I see Robin, I see Tara Sue, and I see Judy. All of you were also a part of the collaboration, but we couldn't have everybody on the panel in the interest of, getting some of time. But I can see a show of hands if you do want to share any final thoughts with the rest of the group. Judy?
Well, I appreciate that I was allowed to be part of the project, and I'm homebound. I'm active virtually in the gallery and the studio, and this whole project coming actively on Zoom over the past year and a half kind of proves that even if you're homebound, you can be part of a project that's not in person, that is over, as Kalila put it, over two continents, over two countries, over two, different locations, and this is vital. I went through a lot of personal pain and heartache through the times, but I pushed myself to be on the Zoom and to contribute. I even made my own web page for coming out of isolation. I contributed on Slack, on Zoom, and email, and I try not to overuse the email, but I have valued tremendously being able to be in contact with everybody. It's been really vital and has enhanced my life. I hope that I have been of some value to the people here, that that people feel that I have contributed. I really am very grateful to have been on this project, and want it's vital to my life. I hope really to be able to continue to be on this and on other things like this, because Zoom is my life since I'm homebound. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Judy. So we have Nancy, Robin, and then Tara Sue.
Can I jump in just really quick?
Yeah.
We'll have to leave at 1.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We can get to them, but just before that, I want to do something kind of dorky, which is I want everyone to smile so I can take a screenshot or wave or do something. If you're off camera, maybe go on camera, but just so we can have some posterity. So 1 second.
Okay.
And I'm still getting postcards from Judy.
Okay.
I love you.
2, 1. Okay, great. We're done. Now we can go to the rest of the questions.
I'm sorry, Rachel, it's okay for me to Nancy, Robin, and Tara Sue to.
Please do.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Nancy, Robin, and then Tara Sue.
Hi, thanks. I did want to say a couple of things. I'll try and keep it brief. First of all, I love the postcard project. I was unfortunately not able to do the Saturday sessions, but I'm still grateful to have been in the program. So the postcards were really a meaningful thing for me. I felt like it was old school, kind of pen pal. I really loved it. I loved getting the incredible artwork. It made me happy. I just saved every single one of them. So despite not being in the Saturday groups, my group was with the lovely Tara Sue and Saban Mooney. And we actually did meet individually, our team, weekly for a year and a half. And I think that's really incredible. It shows the incredible dedication to this program. And, sometimes it was hard, sometimes it was easy. But I loved finding the similarities between us, as creatives, with our mental health challenges, and we were so supportive of each other. And like Isa mentioned, I also prefer to work on my own. So this was a great challenge for me. And to work with this great team, which included, people with different mediums, different styles, different working styles. And I think I might be Bulin and Guillaume Barr, if I'm not mistaken, did a collaborative piece. But the piece that I did was really special because it is both literal and physical, full collaboration. Like my piece has works by my two partners in the final piece, and that really was important to me. There's like a three-tiered or three-tented thing, and that really represents the three of us. So there's really significance on that, and I really wanted to bring that out in a collaboration, and that's something I don't work well with others, so it was a great challenge, and I'm proud of the results. And I just wanted to say in closing that I'm very grateful to have been part of this. I think it was extremely powerful, and the day to day and challenges. But then I saw the show in person yesterday, and I was really blown away. And it really is felt so strong, and I kind of didn't realize until I really physically saw all the work in person, and it was incredible. And seeing not just the work but the book and the documentary, I just I'm really amazed by all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Robin? Where's our Robin? There you are.
Yeah. You're still on mute.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi,
Yes.
everybody.
Hello, hello.
I'm so sorry I didn't get to London. I stupidly thought it would be overwhelming and I wouldn't be able to handle it, but I can see that it's really not a huge amount of people in the room, so I would have been fine, but there you go. I'll see some of you later in August or something. But I have loved being part of the project. I came in late. I don't really draw and paint, so I didn't really participate too much in the making art sessions. I did a lot of writing about my art when I was in that time. But I did respond to the fear prompt, and it got me going on an old artwork that I never finished, which was a face coming out of curtains, which was meant to be a theatre curtain and somebody seeing the audience, but I thought it fitted with being scared of coming out of isolation, which is obviously still a thing because I didn't come down to London today. But it got me back into the studio working with people that I went to college with. I don't have my own studio. So yeah, it really did get me out of isolation artistically and socially. I've really loved doing the Zoom meetings. And I'll miss you all. I wish we were still doing it. But I really wanted to go to New York, but I was a bit worried about being turned away at the border by ICE. So I decided not to come after all. But maybe another time. Maybe when the orange one isn't there.
Yeah.
You know what? We can share that sentiment about the whatever this temporary rain on us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Robin. It's good to see you, and it's fantastic to see your work. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
It's just incredible. And then Tara Sue.
Yeah, so working in this project was really incredible for me. I also didn't do the Saturday, except for the very first one. And the very first one really had created a negative impression on me, in regards that it created a lot of fear. And so I isolated myself even more than I had been before. And I had to really kind of work out of that. And in developing the team with Simone and Nancy, we had three members that were very different, which I had hoped would bring out the most in each of us. So Nancy had a style of creating lines and dark lines in her work, and Simone did writing and poetry and music, and so I thought that would be, an incredible, addition. And then I did kind of typical artistry, and so yeah, bringing all of this together and working together was pretty amazing. And like Nancy said, sometimes it was difficult and sometimes it was really, really good. And I'd say it was more often really good. And I think we really inspired each other. And for coming up to the end, um, uh, Nancy had chosen a color that we were all going to work with. And so I have that in my piece. And my piece got selected for the London show. So I'm very proud about that, but a little disappointed that none of my cohorts here will see it. But yeah, this was really working with these two ladies was really good, and my piece was intentional in regards to showing how it comes from a really dark place where I started this program into a very light place where I came out feeling very bright and um, uh, uh, I don't know, thankful and anyway, so my piece goes from darkness to lightness. So anyway, I was thankful to be able to work with these three ladies.
Thank you so much, Tara Sue. So, we are at the end of our panel discussion. I'm wondering if Kareem or anyone from London would have some final thoughts for us before we sign off.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I think just walking into the gallery today and seeing everybody's work from both and as the result of such a beautiful set of exchanges is like something that we can all be really proud of. And um, I had a very kind of little part right at the end, but yeah, the just hearing what people are saying, how it changed people, how like for me as a curator, knowing that artists are actually getting in touch and making work is like the most important thing in the world. So let's leave it at that. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Can I say something
yeah,
really quick?
thank you so much.
Is that all right? Just a really big thank you to Valerian for to make sure this happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Bravo and congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Vermilion and Rachel over to the gallery. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Karen, that was wonderful panel, and I think hopefully gave people just a small snippet of what the Saturday sessions felt like. So hopefully left you wanting more. I think I really love to know that people are continuing these lines of communication and collaboration. Kind of in that spirit, we are going to keep this Zoom room open for another like 45-ish minutes. It will be unmoderated. I know that there were a few other people who were interested in sharing thoughts or just in general, if you want some time to chat. If not, we will see you in person or continue to see you on the interwebs. But thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Karen, as well. A really big thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Well, brilliant.
I will see you soon. Yes?
You will, yeah.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.